What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for a review of the debut LP by Kali Uchis, a singer-songwriter and rising R&B star, somebody that has really risen with the movement and return of some more traditional R&B elements in the mainstream. You might have caught her on Tyler, the Creator's album Cherry Bomb, or maybe noticed his production work on one of her early EPs, or maybe perhaps you discovered her on Humans by Gorillaz last year, as Damon Albarn crosses over to this very debut project, Isolation. Isolation is an album that really builds an atmosphere, and despite the fact that there are so many producers attached to this project, it still sounds surprisingly cohesive, whether it be DJ Dahi or Sounwave, who is known for working with Top Dog, and obviously the likes of Kendrick Lamar, and then you've got Kurstin and Damon Albarn, like I mentioned, and even Kevin Parker for a more psychedelic leaning moment. This is a very interesting album with some very lush soundscapes and something that you can escape to and find yourself floating away with. Kali Uchis is of Colombian descent, so it only makes sense that she has some Latin influences on her record, and you can totally see that popping up, of course, on the track that's sung entirely in Spanish, track number 8. Throughout this record, I think she does a nice balance of really just having those influences that remind her of her roots, but also mixing in traditional R&B elements, a soulful voice, and some almost elevator-styled music tracks that I really just vibe to. I'm not calling them boring by saying elevator music, it's just something where you have a loose swing and you just kind of want to vibe to it. It's not overtly danceable or anything like that, but it always has a groove, and that's something with R&B that I've always admired, because they often have these strong bass grooves or maybe a little bit of a keyboard popping up in the background, and tracks like Miami are when this record absolutely nails down the vibe. That one is immensely catchy, and it really goes on a winning streak to open up this record. The opening moment, Body Language, features production by Thundercat, and that is something that really impressed me right off the bat. The amount of people she was able to recruit for this project, and the amount of people that are really talented that have gotten behind Kali Uchis, it's awesome, and it's really awesome to see how this played out into a cohesive project. We get that winner right off the bat, then obviously Miami, which features a rapper on the track, and it all comes across just silky smooth, and then we move into Just a Stranger, featuring Steve Lacy, and those vocals, she wants my $100 bills, just in your head instantly. So good. Damon Albarn is credited as Gorillaz on the production for In My Dreams, and Damon also does backing vocals on that track, and that one really is like a daydream in a way, because she's kind of floating off talking about why would you ever wake up when we've got everything all up here. She's doing all of this stuff up in the sky. Why is she going to come back down? And I can relate to that track. That's definitely one of those daydreamy, hazy moments that I love Uchis for. Then you've got something like Tyrant, which is a really nice track. I like the Sounwave production here because it does have the synthesizers, but it also has a grounded feel, and I think that with having multiple producers on that track, and obviously Kali Uchis writing it, I think it kind of brings all of these worlds together in the best way. And this track, Tyrant, is about a power struggle in a relationship, saying, I don't want to get out of the puppy dog love phase. I don't want to move past that, because you know we're going to be at each other's throats saying, all right, well, if I let you do this, then I have to do this and all these other things. It's about wanting to stay in the same place, but knowing that it's not gonna happen. The big single from this project, After the Storm, features her longtime friend and collaborator, Tyler, the Creator, as well as Bootsy Collins, who apparently invited her to his home after really being entranced with her music, and she had him ended up speaking the intro on that track that you hear because she liked his speaking voice, and I can understand why. It's like almost hearing like a little wake-up announcement on the radio, like way back in the 90s or 80s or 70s even. And it's a nice callback because this track in general is something that reminds me of more traditional R&B. You have Tyler, the Creator, on the track, sure, and adding a little bit more of a modern flair, but the way that he blends is so natural. And there's a little bit of a beat change for his verse, and it's almost like flipping the channel slightly on a TV, like back in the day when you were fidgeting with the radio or the TV trying to get it on the exact channel if you had one of those dials, and it just fades ever so slightly, and I find that to be so cool because you notice the change, but it's the same beat, maybe just tuned a little bit deeper or something like that to match Tyler, the Creator. And Kali Uchis absolutely kills the hook, radiating positivity on this track, and she's really just putting herself out there saying, you know what, if you don't get past this, if you just keep getting bogged down, you're never going to move past the storm in your life. And this one is immensely catchy. I could see this really being a bigger hit. In fact, it already kind of is. There's two really refreshing interludes towards the end of this album, the first of those being Gotta Get Up, and that one is something that just feels like a glass of lemonade in a way. You get out of In My Dreams, and you're already in kind of a good mood, and this one just furthers that. And then we get the track Tomorrow with Kevin Parker, which definitely leans into a bit of psychedelia mixed with R&B. Love his contributions to this one. Once again, Uchis just coming through with a vocal performance that is kind of like a dreamlike quality. And then right after that, we move into another interlude that, honestly, you could have fooled me if you told me it was just a full song, because it's 2 minutes and 40 seconds long, and she comes through on Coming Home and talks about how she feels genuinely and honestly. I'm too skinny, I'm too fat, I'm too this, I'm too that. And it is very relatable, I'm sure, for a lot of people, and myself even in some ways. And I like that she's really just confronting a lot of things head on, almost with a little bit of a smile in her eyes, knowing that she's going to get criticized for really whatever, just by publications or people online, whatever it is. Everybody's going to find a problem with anything. I'm honestly not a huge fan of the two closing moments here, Feel Like a Fool and Killer. They both feel like a little bit more traditional music, but it also feels so done before. And I feel like redundancy is definitely something that kills the vibe a bit for me on this project. While I like many of these songs, they just feel a bit too familiar. I could say that for maybe like the love song Flight 22 that comes earlier in the record, some of these closing moments, the reggaeton moment, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce, track number 8, and then some of the others, they have a good quality to them, but they just maybe get a bit tedious after repeated listens especially. You start to notice familiarities and things that just maybe you've heard before. For example, the track Your Teeth in My Neck, I really like the bouncing bass quality to it. It kind of just moves around, a nice little bop there going on. But again, as it progresses and keeps going on, I'm like, okay, all right, let's get to the next track, because I feel like at this point, after having to listen to the album so many times, I've gotten it. There's not a ton that I'm still gleaning from this track, so why continue to listen to this when there's other that I favor more? I do have to mention one other song that I haven't talked about yet, and that is Dead to Me. That one right there is very confrontational and almost a little bit playful in an odd way, basically telling somebody, hey, you know what? I forgot about you. Why can't you do the same thing for me? I'm over here trying to live my life, almost talking to somebody that seems to be obsessed with her, perhaps stalking her, maybe a former flame, or somebody that she went on a date with maybe like 1 or 2 times, and now it's just like, chill, dude, leave me alone. And this one has a very, very nice quality to it production-wise. It really just scapes up nicely with that soundscape, and then you've also got some nice guitars and a light drum pattern in the background that really just makes this song hit home. While the overwhelmingly positive reviews have been pouring in for this record, I have to say on isolation, I'm a little bit more cautiously reserved, because I feel like it does get dull in places. Even though there's so many great songs here, there are 15, so there's moments that get bogged down. And it's not that this record is overtly long, it's 46 minutes, 15 tracks though. Some of them do have a tendency to get a bit dull and maybe lose themselves in their contemporary influences, or maybe the traditional elements of R&B makes it feel a little bit heard before. Some people will love it, some people will find it tedious. I am more on the positive side of things, but I also do see the album's flaws, and I don't think that as a whole it has like every single track as something that you're gonna be coming back to because they're all gold or anything like that. Like I said, more cautiously reserved with this one, but still, I'm feeling a strong 3.5 out of 5 for Isolation, the debut album by Kali Uchis. What do you think about the young R&B star? Do you think that she's gonna rise to fame? Because I would be more than okay with tracks like some of the singles, like After the Storm with Tyler, the Creator, crossing over into the mainstream. So let me know what you think of this album and her singles in the comment section down below. Please drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it today, and subscribe because there's a lot more videos on the way. What a big release release week, so more to come. Oh hey look, it's low quality John hitting you before the outro of the video. Just wanted to let you know, for those who do not follow me on Twitter, that I do have a lot of videos on the way. Despite my insanity, I'm going to continue pushing on. I can't guarantee that all of these will happen, but I'm trying to do reviews for Hayley Kiyoko. I'm doing a top 15 Paramore. Also going to try and review the album by Alice in Wonderland, the new Breaking Benjamin, that's coming Friday. Nothing Nowhere as well. I've got a video essay that's going to be coming out later in the month on Lady Gaga, celebrating her 10 years. And then I've got a rap gone wrong on Lil Xan. So make sure you subscribe and follow me on Twitter so you get this in the future. Thank you so much for watching my review of the debut album by Kali Uchis. If you're able to support me on Patreon, not only to help videos on this channel, but also beyond ARTV keep coming on a monthly basis, then click the top link down below, or else the annotation in the corner, to donate on a monthly basis. See a couple of recent videos right over here. All of my social media accounts can be found in the description down below, and I will see you very soon right here on ARTV.